Hello, English language learners. Welcome. So let's see how many of you are there today. Hope to see many of you. So if you are here, then you can write in the comment section in the live chat. Hello, everyone. So let's see. I missed our everyone. Hello, Vishal. Good to see you. Okay, let's see. How are you today? Good to see you too. Roshan Kumar Thakur. Good evening. Okay. So now you know I'm ma'am. Hari Om Naik. Okay, good to see you. Paralapadya. Hello. Okay. Good evening. Roshan. That's fine. Okay. So, are you ready to learn? Sajid, good evening. Mohit Kumar, hi. Okay, so without wasting any time, Simab Akhtar, hi. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Simab. Vineet Kumar, hi. Imran Hussain, good evening, Imran. Good to see you after a long time. I think my memory is pretty good. I remember some of you now. Mohit, good evening. Yes. Okay. So today, without wasting any time, because my today's lesson, I don't know if it's pretty long or short. It all depends. And I am not going to mention the name of my subscriber because without my subscriber's permission, I should not reveal the name. Yes, but today I am one of my subscriber. Actually, he or she emailed me last month in June, and it was kind of like a narrative, a memory that person had, and asked me to edit it or send a feedback. And I told him that I am going to edit it and then I will talk about it. So that's what we are going to do today. Okay, so I'm good. And now I am going to share with you the original narrative, or you can say narrative memoir, because that is an incident, the memory. And then I will show you the edit one, and I will explain you why we have to make those changes in our writing. Okay, so let's start that one. So I am going to share the screen with you. So let's see if you are able to see the screen. Otherwise, I'm going to move it. Okay. I hope. Let's see. Hi, Sandeep. Good to see you. You missed my last session. Even you missed my Zoom session too this Saturday. I don't know what happened. And last Saturday's Zoom session, I didn't upload. Actually, what happened is that I thought I will start recording it when all students will be present. But then we just were so busy in our conversation that I forgot to record that session. But that was about the pandemic, their life during lockdown and after lockdown. It was very interesting topic, but accidentally I forgot to record it. So that's why I didn't upload it. But this Saturday, try to participate as many of you can, because every time we learn something new and we practice. And I mean, the most important part is that we practice our speaking skills, right? Okay, now I am going to read this. And this is a document from a subscriber. I didn't mention the name. I'm going to hide the name. He said, I am sending this file you, ma'am, please read it a time. My friend write it, ma'am. He is an extraordinary student and always motivate us to open your mind today. I talk with him more 4 hours. He has a very charmistic personality. Okay, that means charming personality. Now, this is the writing. Missing the rain of Nethroth. I don't know if you know better how to pronounce this name of that city. At the very first sight, my eyes present the hovering, peaceful, lovely, becoming clouds and joyfully dancing pine trees and the pretty, captivating small flowers falling with the rotation of salt trees. My ears captured this word is mellifluous. This is like in my next, where I did the editing, I have the syllables, but this word is mellifluous. Charming of birds and whistling of wind and rustling of the leaves. Skin captured the gentle cold breeze loaded with the tiny water droplets. Tongue prison the tasty hot tea and samosas. And my nose captured the petrichor of the earth when I visited Natharat. But what about my heart? That time, the beauty of nature was so bewitching that it compelled my senses and my heart to interlink, and my heart that moment present the everlasting and evergreen monsoon of Natharat. Oh, really, the moment was heartening, and it will remain in me for good. Suddenly, my senses and my heart hadn't interlinked ever like that. That day, they integrated as one feeling the monsoon, enjoying, dancing, and singing joyfully. So this one, I actually translated it also in Hindi because I know most of you are able to understand Hindi, right? So that's why I translated it, and I'm sorry, this is not my translation. This translation is from Google, okay? So Netrahat, okay, Netrahat. Good morning, Amarjeet, okay? So now the translation part. So this one is a Google translation. So I don't know if it's correct, but pretty much I think it's fine. So जो है आप इसको read कर सकते हैं. If you want to read it, I have it up there, and I will try to read it too. But please don't laugh on my Hindi, okay? पहली ही नजर में मेरी आंखों ने शांतिपूर्ण प्यारी बादल और खुशी से नाचते हुए देवदार के पेड़ और सुंदर मनोरम छोटे छोटे फूल जो रोटेशन के साथ गिरते हैं मेरे कानों में पक्षियों के मनमोहक आकर्षक और हवा के झोंकों और पत्तियों की सरसराहट ने कब्जा कर लिया। तवचा ने छोटे पानी की बूंदों से भरी कोमल ठंडी हवा पर कब्जा कर लिया। लाउंज में स्वादिष्ट गरम चाय और समोसा मिला और मेरी नाक ने पृथ्वी के okay, so this word petrichor means जब बारिश काफी जैसे it's like for example in these days it's very hot in India, and when the rain comes after a hot weather, then you feel the smell like बारिश की एक smell. That's what it's this word means, okay? But this is they didn't translate it. It's still the English word. पर कब्जा कर लिया जब एक नेत्र हाट का दौरा, जब मैंने नेत्र हाट का दौरा किया, लेकिन मेरे दिल के बारे में क्या, उस समय प्रकृति की सुंदरता इतनी विह्वल थी कि इसने मेरे होश उड़ा दिए और मेरे इंटरलिंक करने के लिए दिल और मेरा वेपल जो नेत्रहाट के सदाबहार और सदाबहार मॉनसून को कैद करता है। और वास्तव में यह पल दिल को सुकून देने वाला था और ये मेरे लिए अच्छा रहा या रहेगा। निश्चित रूप से मेरे होश और मेरे दिल ने कभी भी ऐसा नहीं किया था। उस दिन वे मानसून को महसूस करके आनंद लेने और नृत्य करने और खुशी में गाने के रूप में एकत्रित हुए। So even there are so many sentences in English also are not very clear. So then I was like, okay, I need to edit it, and I did the editing. So the very first thing about this writing is when you write something, the very first thing when you are telling about a place, you need to mention, you need to explain it, where this place is, because your reader, they don't know about that place, right? So you have to give the setting. You have to explain your setting whenever you are writing any memory about any place, okay? So now I am going to read my edited one. So जो मैंने इसको edit किया है वो मैं अब आपके लिए read करती हूँ. So let's see. Not this one. What happened? So okay. Okay, so let's go back and move on to the next page. Okay, I'm sorry guys, there is another file open somehow accidentally. Okay, so now this is the same one. Now I am going to show you the one I edited, okay? So this one is edited by me. At this moment, I am desperately missing the reign of Netharat. Netharat is a hill station in India and is also referred to as the Queen of Chota Nagpur. I visited Nathral a few years ago in the summer. One day when I went outside to admire the natural beauty of Netharat. At first sight, my eyes imprisoned the hovering, peaceful, lovely clouds forming in the sky, joyfully dancing pine trees around me. I gazed deeply and then I moved my sight from sky and looked around. My eyes got captivated by the small, pretty, colorful, orange and yellow flowers falling from the sal trees. My ears captured the melodious singing of the charming birds, the mellifluous whistling of the wind, and the rustling leaves. My nose captured the petrichor of the earth. My skin got wet with the gentle, cool breeze loaded with the tiny water droplets. Now, if you notice here, first of all, we need to have a setting. Setting means where it happened. So yes, we know it happened there, but I also assumed that this was a summertime, okay? Because if you go to the hill station, most of the time, winter time, you don't get flowers, first of all, right? Most of the hill stations, winter time, it's too cold. So the flowers you see, mostly it's a spring and summer season. So that's the reason I knew that this might be a summer or spring season. So that's why I just wrote down a summertime. So now here, if you see where it happened, it's very clear, right? And when it happened. So the time doesn't mean it happened daytime or it happened night time. It can be a season also. So it can be, time can be a specific time, like 9 o'clock, 9:30, exact time, or it can be morning, evening, afternoon, night, midnight, right? And then the time can be in the seasons also. It was in summer, it was in winter, it was in autumn, like fall. You call it autumn, we say fall. Or you can say last year, 10 years ago, or like in especially for the fairy tales, like you see the time once upon a time or long time ago, right? So you have to have a time. Even it's a narrative, but this is still a story. It's a real moment, it's a real incident, right? So it's like a narrative or a narrative memoir, that the memory you have, something happened in your life, and that's unforgettable for you, that moment or that time. So that's why in the first paragraph, if you see, this is all about setting. Setting means where it happened and when it happened, right? Now, the next thing was that this is all description. This is because whosoever the author is, the person who wrote it, he or she was admiring the beauty, right? The natural beauty. So when you are experiencing the beauty, or you are expressing your description, you should use whatever the site you are using. For example, in this one, if you look at the first sight, sight means which sense the author is talking about, sense to see, right? My eyes. So at first sight, my eyes imprisoned the hovering, peaceful, lovely clouds forming in the sky, joyfully dancing pine trees around me. So the first one, you should try not to mix all the senses, like not first see and then smell and then again see and smell or hear. It's better to use one sense and use all the description about that, because then you saw the clouds, you saw the dancing trees, right? Or you saw and then I gazed. Gazed also means when you look at something and it's hard for you to move your eyesight, you just see it very deeply, right? Gazing deeply, and then moved the sight from the sky and looked around, right? The eyes got captivated by the small, pretty, colorful orange and yellow flowers falling from the salt tree. So I added these adjectives, because if you really want to write impressively, and especially in description, when you are describing something, you need to use many adjectives, because adjectives are very helpful, especially because when you watch a movie, for example, or you watch a show, you see everything is happening on the screen, right? But when you are telling someone about something, especially the beauty, right, then you have to add all kind of adjectives, because the listener or the reader is picturizing in his mind or her mind, right? So that's why if I will say the flowers were falling from the sal tree, that is okay. But if I am saying yellow and orange flowers were falling from the sal tree, and then whosoever is listening or reading can picturize right away, right, the color of the flowers. So it's very important, especially when you are describing something. Then my ears captured the melodious singing of the charming birds. So again, here I added more adjectives in this. So in this writing, I added more adjectives, and I added a sequence, because everything, the sight, and then I talked about my listening, right? So the second sense was a listening sense. Then is my nose. So the next sense was smell, right? So first was sight, to see, the second was listening, and then is the nose, captured. Your nose captured, right, the petrified core of the earth. So because it was first rain, it was monsoon. Then the skin. Now when you are feeling skin, that is sense to touch. Okay, so sense to see, sense to hear, sense to smell, and sense to touch. So in this one, we pretty much used all the senses, right? My skin got wet with the gentle cool breeze. Breeze means wind, right? Cool breeze. And especially if it's raining, you feel the cool breeze, even if you are living on a plain, you are not living on mountains, right? Breeze loaded with tiny water droplets, because the air, the cool air, the breeze, especially after rain, you feel moisture in the air, right? So that's what it is. Let me see if you have any comments. Okay, hovering means flying. So you think about the clouds, they hover around, right? They move around. They are in the sky, and they're not still, right? You see the clouds, they move. So hovering is flying or moving around on up there on the sky. Okay, memoir is a memory. Memoir is something happened in the past, history, right? So narrative memoir means that this is the incident happened in the past, but it's unforgettable, right? It's like a memory. You will never forget this. So narrative can be a true, something happened in someone's life, a story, right? Mandrana, yes, in Hindi you say mandrana. Now I have the translation for this one too, because if someone has trouble understanding each and everything, that's why I just made the translation too. And again, this one is a Google translation, it's not my translation. So इस समय मुझे नेत्रहाट की बारिश याद आ रही है. नेत्रहाट भारत में एक हिल स्टेशन है और इसे छोटा नागपुर की रानी भी कहा जाता है. मैंने कुछ साल पहले गर्मियों में नेत्रहाट का दौरा किया था. एक दिन जब मैं नेत्रहाट की प्राकृतिक सुंदरता की प्रशंसा करने के लिए बाहर गया, like admiring means देखना, but this translation is not 100% correct. पहली नजर में मेरी आंखों ने आसमान में मंडराने वाले शांतिपूर्ण प्यारे बादलों को कैद कर लिया. Shantipuran means there was not lightning, right? Not thunderstorm. It was, the rain was very peaceful, or the cloud was very peaceful. खुशी से मेरे चारों और देवदार के पेड़ नाच रहे थे. मैंने गहराई से देखा, फिर मैंने अपनी साइट को आकाश से स्थानांतरित किया और चारों ओर देखा. मेरी आंखों को साल पेड़ों से गिरने वाले छोटे सुंदर रंगीन नारंगी और पीले फूलों ने मोहित कर लिया. मेरे कानों ने आकर्षक पक्षियों के मधुर गायन, हवा के मधुर स्वर और सरसराहट के पत्तों को पकड़ लिया. That means captivated means it was got attracted. मेरी नाक ने पृथ्वी के, again that one is petrichor, is the Google was not translating this word, it's still in English, पर कब्जा कर लिया. मेरी त्वचा एक छोटी सी ठंडी हवा के साथ गीली हो गई जो पानी की छोटी बूंदों से भरी हुई थी. Now I'm going to move to the next part because this one it's pretty, I added a lot in it, okay, because the writing was not very clear and it was not in the sequence. So I added a lot. In that heartwarming, everlasting moment, everlasting. Why it's everlasting? Because it's still in my mind. The enjoyment of mouth-watering, delicious samosas and hot tea. The natural beauty of Natharath delighted all my five senses. But what about my heart? Okay. The everlasting natural beauty of Natharath was so bewitching that it compelled my all senses and heart to interlink. Oh, the breathtaking moment remains in my mind forever. Certainly, my senses and heart didn't interlink the same way ever, because yellow flowers falling from the sal trees, chirping of the birds, rustling of the leaves, cool breeze, and all that natural beauty is not here anymore. Because why? Because the author is not on that hill station anymore. So the author is missing that part, right? So that's what it is. So us hirday vidarik चिरस्थायी क्षण में मुंह में पानी भर जाने वाले स्वादिष्ट समोसा और गर्म चाय का आनंद, नेत्रहाट की प्राकृतिक सुंदरता ने मेरी सभी पांच इंद्रियों को प्रसन्न किया, लेकिन मेरे दिल का क्या? नेत्रहाट की दिल चिरस्थायी प्रकृति सुंदरता इतनी मनमोहक थी कि इसने मेरी सभी इंद्रियों और दिल को आपस में जोड़ने के लिए मजबूर कर दिया। ओ लुभावने पल मेरे दिमाग में हमेशा के लिए रहेंगे, रहता है नहीं रहेंगे। निश्चिंत रूप से मेरी इंद्रियां और हृदय कभी एक ही तरह से नहीं जुड़े थे, क्योंकि सैल पेड़ के गिरने वाले पीले फूल, पक्षियों की चहकती पत्तियों की सरसराहट, ठंडी हवा और प्राकृतिक सुंदरता यहाँ अब नहीं है, right? So because that beauty is not here, that's what when we write something, we need to have the coordination, right? So that's what I tried to edit. And if there is any other subscriber who likes to write any story, any poem, any kind of writing, and if you want me to edit it or provide you any feedback, I will be happy to do it. But I'm not sure how much time, because sometimes I have my own stuff to work on. But this was in June, but I edited it like, I think last month, but just forgot to bring it for you. And today I decided that I should bring this lesson for you and explain you where were some of the mistakes. What? No voice? How come? No voice? You cannot hear me, guys? Are you able to hear me? So I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you tomorrow. And if you want to join my session, and the reason I gave you the translation, thank you, Sandeep and Vishal. Yes, because when I read that, and I was like, there are many parts are missing in the writing, but I hope this lesson helped you to, whenever you write something, especially, okay, good, you can hear, okay. So I hope this lesson will help you, especially to improve your writing skills, right? Okay, so if you like this lesson, please let me know in the comment section that you like this lesson. And especially I enjoyed this because this was not my work. This was yours, one of yours, the student, right? Who did it? Like the student did it, and I just did my part as a teacher to edit it and just try to find just try to make the corrections and was here to provide you the feedback. So whenever you describe something again and use the senses, try to add maximum adjectives and try to focus on one sense first and then like sense to see or sense to hear or sense to smell or sense to touch, like in a sequence, I will say. That's more, it's more enjoyable to the readers and more clear also, right? It's more clear. And again, if you write a story, your story always have to have a setting. Your story always have some kind of conflict. That means a problem, and then a resolution. That means, and so the story, it's in other words, you say it plot. Plot of the story is the first part. We say exposition, and then it's a rising action, then it's a climax or conflict, then it's a falling action, and then it's a resolution. That's what you need to keep in mind when you write any lesson. Okay, yes, so today's lesson like an essay that we read in our books mostly, yes. Because if you, that's why I always say these lessons, sometime I feel it like, I don't know if this lesson is going to be very hard for some of the students, but that's the reason I had a translation also, that if you don't understand, at least you can go back and read the translation also, right? Thank you. Arman Alam, I am sorry to say I am not understanding what are you teaching. I think story. Arman, no, this was a writing from one of my students like you, okay? So I don't know if I am allowed to mention the name because I didn't mention, sorry about this one. So this was, Arman, this was Missing the Rain of Netharat is one of my students wrote this, like you, subscriber, not a student, my classroom student, but from YouTube. And that student emailed me this writing, and I made all the corrections, and then I brought this lesson and I explained it, what mistakes were here and how I edited it, and I explained it. The next time, if you are going to write, what are the things you need to keep in mind when you are writing a description, when you are writing a narrative? That means when you are writing some kind of incident that happened in your life. That's what we were learning. So I hope you understand this. Okay? Okay, guys. So I will see you hopefully tomorrow. I will see you, and then on Saturday. The other thing is I want to upload many reading lessons for you where I want to read and I want to talk about, so you can improve your reading as well as your pronunciation skills too. And then at the same time, you will be learning a lot of vocabulary, and of course you will be improving your listening skills and pronunciation skills and your speaking and your writing also. But in those lessons, I will be invisible. That means I will in the back end, you will be just listening my voice and you will be able to see the screen. Then I can add more lessons. I can upload more lessons, because otherwise sometimes it's hard for me, especially frankly speaking, to get ready and be, here to in a presentation mode. Sometimes I just want to relax and do not want to be up front on the camera. So I can have more lessons to upload if I'm at the back end and you can listen my voice. Okay, you know me, I just say honestly, because that's what I feel sometimes. I want to upload the lesson, but right now I'm not in a mood to dress up and then to be in front of the camera. So that's why sometimes I don't upload the lessons. But if you like those kind of lessons where I'm at the back end, I can upload many lessons too. Okay, so I will see you tomorrow again with another lesson on live class. And for this time, have a wonderful day and stay blessed. Thank you, Vishal, for your best wishes.